Hello, hi, my name's Audrey Marie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be covering my books that I've read in January and also cover some of the books that I am hopeful to get into in February. I'm excited for what February has to bring. I got through 6 different books over the month of January and I think I had a really good start of the year. I can't believe I actually read 6 books. When I was grabbing my books for this video, I was stunned to find out I read 6 books. I didn't believe it because I like to keep my series together, and some of the series that I read, I don't have the rest of the series with me, so they're just scattered around my room. I was going through a series, and so those books weren't included with the rest of the books that I read. When I got everything together, I was kind of stunned. I went and checked on my Fable to make sure I actually read 6 books. That is very rare for me. I'm almost around 4 books a month, 1 book a week, so I was very stunned. I started off the month with Her Soul for Revenge. I was continuing my dark romance vibes from 2025, from December. So I finished up Her Soul for Revenge. I really did enjoy this book. I was intrigued to continue the series because it is about this cult that is worshiping this god that is trying to get them to sacrifice some of the people in their community, and the ones that are gonna get sacrificed got in contact with some demons to save them. So I was very intrigued with this one. I knew the character had been on the run because in the first one you get a glimpse to this demon and her as well. You get to hear that they tried to sacrifice her a couple of years ago, and then her brother is killed, and that's what starts the first book off, with the mystery of what happened to him. I really did enjoy this. It was a little different than what I was reading for my other dark romances, because this is more of a fantasy dark romance because it deals with a cult, but it also deals with the fantasy side of demons and gods and some witches. I do really like this series. I want to pick up the next one, but I want to hold off until around October so I can get more spooky vibes. Highly recommend. I'm excited to get to the next ones. After Her Soul for Revenge, I picked up an audiobook. I started listening to that with my roommate, and so I had to slowly get through that. So I wanted to read something completely different from that. But on my free time, I was reading and listening to Gods and Monsters. This was the last book of a trilogy that I started years ago, and I absolutely loved the first book of the series. And whenever I picked up the second one, I was not the biggest fan. When I actually finally got around to reading and finally finishing, because I did soft DNF the second one, and I really enjoyed this. It was a good way to wrap up the series. I definitely recommend jumping into this one right after the second one if you're given a shot, because once I started this and I didn't have a refresh of what was happened in the second one, I was unbelievably confused. I was really confused as to what was going on, why you're not getting one of the characters' point of view while you're getting the other. Definitely do a recap on the second one if you take a break before this so you know what the ending was, because if I remembered that a little bit sooner, I would have put 2 and 2 together as to what was going on, because I was unbelievably confused. But I really enjoyed this. It was the thickest book in the trilogy, but they did have a lot of stuff to wrap up in this book. Definitely better than the second book in the series, which was Blood and Honey. But the first one still takes the cake, still wins over me. But I love Reed and Lou together. I love the journey they go on together and how many twists and turns they go through. This book definitely tested the two of them as a couple, and with their friendship with everybody and the loyalty to one another is absolutely amazing. So I really enjoyed this. I highly recommend this trilogy. I'm excited to pick up another book by this author because I really did enjoy these books. So that was the second book I got around to in January. The next book that I finally finished was Cash. I did not like this book one bit. Me and my roommate hated this book. There was a setup that could have been phenomenal, but the execution of everything was not it. They set it up for some character growth, and the character growth that happened did not hit like it should have. And the character growth that was set up was not to the point where it should be included if they were looking towards character development for this one character. I hated so many characters in this book. I will say Cash kind of slowly grew on me, but after Cash and Molly finally became a couple in this book, they became insufferable, and I could not stand the two of them. It was so bad that after they finally became a couple, I did not want to continue this book whatsoever. And me and my roommate were just pushing through it. It's to the point where I zoned out at the end of this book. Finished it. I know what happened at the end, but I really did not like this book one bit. I had such high hopes for this book and it just did not work for me. There was descriptions of stuff that made me uncomfortable. It was using words that was actually confusing. They were using it as a dual purpose, or I didn't even know which they were trying to insinuate. In some instances, they were insinuating one thing, while in the other instant, they were trying to insinuate another. It just was so confusing. If you're looking for a cowboy romance that has no character development and the entire relationship between the two characters is just lust and physically driven between the two of them, this is the perfect book. But if you want some actual character development and in an interesting storyline, this is not the book for you. We were all the way at the end and it felt like nothing happened in this book whatsoever. So I do not recommend this book after that disappointment of a book. I finally started Throne of Glass and finally came to terms with the read in order because my roommate threatened me regarding the read in order because she didn't want me to get spoiled anything. So she had me read Throne of Glass first. I really enjoyed my time while reading this. I can see why people really like the series so far. It makes sense for the storyline of this book, but I wish the world had more magic to it. We're on this continent is banned and destroyed, so there's no fae and no magic system. It was banned and everybody who uses magic gets killed, so I can understand why there's not a lot of magic in it, but going into this, I knew it was a fantasy, so I was expecting more of a magical feel of this book. So that was one thing I was missing out in this book. You get a little glimpse of some fantasy-esque stuff going on in this book, but it was not to the point of where I thought it was going to be jumping into ACOTAR, because that was a full-on fantasy book. This one is just very medieval with little glimpse of fantasy in this one. I was expecting more from the trials, not just, oh, we're gonna shoot a boat, we're gonna climb up this tall tower, we're gonna do javelin throws, we're gonna discern which liquid has poison in it and which doesn't. So I was expecting much more out of the trials, but for the world as where we are in this book, it makes sense. I like the characters that were introduced, so I really enjoyed it. So after Throne of Glass, I needed more of this world. Just straight up, I needed to continue, so I picked up Crown of Midnight right off the bat. I needed to know what was going to happen between the characters and to see where we go from where Throne of Glass ended. So I jumped straight into Crown of Midnight, and this one had me hooked. I was very interested in all the secrets of the castle and all the secrets that were hidden from Selena, but also Selena is really stupid. I'm just saying, these characters were very stupid in this book because of the little inscription poem she gets in this book. The very first line should have been such an obvious thing, and it took her forever in this book for her to figure it out. As soon as the poem was given to us, I knew right away where the first thing was. And Selena, it took her forever. Also, Selena, why are you doing some stuff without knowing how to solve an issue that might arise? Why aren't you thinking about all the possibilities? Even though I feel like since you're an assassin, you need to think of all the possibilities to get you out of a situation. She just did not think some stuff through in this book. So this one, I really did enjoy. I enjoyed the character growth and the more magical feel we get throughout this book. I would say I like this one a bit more than Throne of Glass. I was really sad about one of the characters. That was very depressing, but also Selena should have seen a twist happen a good while ago prior to it, because I had a bit of a suspicion of one of the characters. She didn't see this character for who he actually was until it was too late. So I'm sad about one of the characters, but it led Selena to going down a path. But the choice of the character and what happened to it is what kickstarted Selena going down the path that was rightful for her. And I will say the reveal that was at the end of this book, I saw it from a mile away. There was so many hints throughout the book that even I was saying throughout the reading vlog that something's up with her and her identity. She's not telling the reader everything and the truth of her. I really enjoyed this book. I enjoyed the reveal. I enjoyed the end. So after this one, I picked up Assassin's Blade. My roommate told me to read it third in the series because she said I would get more of Selena's background and what happened to her and it would explain as to why she acts the way she does and makes the choices she does. I didn't know what to expect. I had a feeling that we were gonna get some of the more impactful stories that she mentions throughout the first 2 books, and that is exactly what we got. And at first it was very slow, and I didn't really want to pick up this one as badly as I did the rest of the books. But as time went on and I kept going through this book, I see why Sarah J. Maas wrote this book and gave us the background of her stories that was talked about previously throughout her history, because you're getting more of Celaena's storyline and what made her her as she is now. And you also get to see what happened to one of the characters that is mentioned throughout the book that she vaguely mentions, and what happens to him, but you don't know exactly what happened to him. And you also get a reveal at the ending of this book that also Celaena should have seen it from a mile away because of who this character is and what they did throughout the rest of the book. I really recommend this. I really did enjoy this book. I would say this was a pretty good month. I was not expecting me to get around to 6 books. That is very rare for me, especially since I'm back up at college and this is my last semester. So I was very stunned to see that I finished all these books. But Sarah J. Maas has got me hooked into the Throne of Glass series. I had some major hits and had a very miss throughout the month, but I would say this was a good way to start off 2026, the new year, for all the books I read. I turned this on. I didn't realize I didn't turn it on for this video, but I realized I didn't have it on, so now it's on. Anyways, so on to my February hopefuls. So the first book is not going to be a shocker. Terrifier. I've already started it. I've already made some progress in it. Not a whole lot, but I've been a bit busy with a mid-review for my major. I'm at page 66 out of 569 pages, and I have a ways to go in this book. I have so much I gotta get to. I'm so intrigued. We got a new setting that we got thrown into in this one, some new point of view, some new characters. I am strapped and ready to go regarding this world. So intrigued. I cannot wait to see where Celaena goes in this book. We got introduced to a new character that I'm intrigued in, so I'm excited to see where that character gets played in this world and what happens with this character. That's about it. Not a whole lot's happened in this book so far. I'm excited to see where this world goes, what happens. I have no idea where this is going to take us for this ride. I am unbelievably curious. So after Air of Fire, I will probably be jumping straight into Queen of Shadows because I am engrossed in this series and I need to know what happens in this world. So I'm trying not to spoil anything while I have this in my hand, even though I want to read the back just to get myself some spoilers, but I'm doing my best. Those are the first 2. While I was looking for books for what I'm going to be reading next, I realized I've been buying books that are constantly fantasy books. And I've been going through my contemporary romances very fast as well. So maybe the next book I'll pick up is The Love of My Afterlife. I really love this cover. I know very little about it, and it's also just a very short read. So I'm very intrigued. And this book has been on my radar for a good while now, just because of the cover, but also the premise of the book as well, because the FMC dies. And then after she dies, she gets introduced to this character. She doesn't know him. They start talking to one another, and as they get to know one another, somebody comes running through and breaks the news that there's been a huge mistake regarding the MMC, and he gets sent back. Delphine was thinking her luck might be different in the afterlife when Delphine is offered a deal to return to Earth to reconnect with this mysterious man. And she obviously takes that opportunity, why wouldn't you? Especially as the way she dies. So she gets sent back to Earth after she's already died, just to see if she can meet this MMC again. So I'm very intrigued as the premise of this book. I don't know if it's gonna hit like I expected to, but you gotta admit, this cover is very gorgeous. Not a huge fan of yellow all that often, but the blue and pink makes it work very well. So this is one of the books that I'm looking forward to picking up in February. And then as I was looking for contemporary romances, one of the ones that I recently bought is Wild Card by Elsie Silver. I want to finish off the Rose Hill series so I can pick up her very first series that she got published, which is the Gold Rush Ranch series. That series has been on my radar for a while. I figured I would just finish off this one before I start another one of her series when I'm already in the middle of this one. So I am looking forward to getting into Wildcard at some point. I've heard some mixed reviews on this book. I have high hopes for it. I love the cover of it. It's age gap romance, and the FMC knows the MMC because she used to date his son. So there's that. I've never read a book with that premise, with that storyline yet, so I'm very intrigued as to see if I'll enjoy this or not. The books previously in the Rose Hill series, I've definitely read those similar storylines before. This will be nowhere near what I normally read. I'm excited to say I finished off another one of LJ Silver's book, like another one of her series, because all of her books are gorgeous. I'm hoping this gives me the vibes that Cash could not. And then the last book on my February TBR is Mr. Fixer-Upper by Lucy Score. I really love Lucy Score books. I haven't read one that I have not liked so far. This one I haven't really heard anything on. I picked up the Christmas Fix a year or two ago and I didn't realize it was a second book in a series, so I was on the hunt for Mr. Fixer-Upper for cheap. I found it at Half Price Books a while back. So I finally got this in hand and I think this would be fun to pick up because it's a constant battle on set between the sexy, grumpy renovation reality star and his no-nonsense field producer. So I have high hopes for this book. I'm very intrigued with the premise because I really enjoyed Lauren Asher's book where one of the characters did a reality show of fixing up houses, and I love that. I am majoring in architecture. I'm very intrigued as to see if this book hits or not because I haven't heard a single person talk about this book. I'm just looking towards just a simple contemporary while I'm reading a heavy fantasy series like Throne of Glass. So far, normally I only say 4 books per month, but these contemporary romance books are very short, so I will probably breeze through these ones pretty quickly compared to my Sarah J. Maas books. But these are the books that I'm excited to possibly get into in February. A lot of the times I hear from my TBR or my hopefuls because I'm a massive mood reader and my mood changes from now to tomorrow. So as of today, this is what I'm saying I will probably be reading this month. Don't hold me to it. It will change. I'll say it right here. It will change. My January TBR changed. So don't show me. I'm just a massive mood reader. Anywho, that is it for this video. I'm excited to see what February holds for all the books I read and how many I get through, because I don't know if I'll actually get through 6 again this month. There's a high chance I might even get through just 2. There's a chance. You never know. I could just get a buttload of homework. I don't even have that many classes going on this semester. So I have a lot in store for school. So we'll actually have to wait and see whether I get to 6 or if I just read 2. We'll have to wait and see. Don't hold me to that list. Anywho, thank you so much for watching. And I really hope you enjoyed this video, and like the video if you liked it, subscribe to my channel if you want to check out some more videos of mine, because I really enjoy doing this for y'all, even though sometimes I get a little stressed out with my posting schedule because sometimes I get off schedule every once in a while, but I do my best. So thank you so much for clicking on the video, spending your morning, evening, night with me, any time of the day with me. Thank you so much for watching.